If there's one platform that I couldn't do without, it would be Pinterest. So if you're thinking about getting started on Pinterest but don't know where to start or are looking for an easy, basic, or simple way to get started on Pinterest, this video is going to walk you through it because I'm going to walk you through the basics of Pinterest, how to get started, and a way to simplify that beginner's process so that you're not overwhelmed with all of the features and the benefits of Pinterest, but are instead actually taking action and making it as simple as possible. So let's get started. Hi, my name is Kayla, and I help content creators create better content for better results. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to get my latest uploads every week. So let's talk about creating a basic Pinterest strategy for the year. So of course, step number one, if you haven't actually created your Pinterest account yet, what you're going to want to do is get that set up right away. Now, you may be asking, should I have a personal Pinterest account or a business Pinterest account? It's my belief that you should have a business Pinterest account because it allows you to verify your website and it establishes a connection between you and the content that you create outside of Pinterest. So it tells the platform and it tells Pinterest that you own that content, and that's a very important thing for Pinterest to know and understand, because then they can prioritize your content for your audience, knowing that you own and have created that content. But if you're just creating a personal account, they don't know that you've created that blog post and that it came from your website. So definitely start with a business account if you can. So once you've signed up with a Pinterest business account, what you're going to want to do is verify your website and set up what's considered rich pins and verified account. So you'll want to go to Pinterest and look up verified accounts and follow the steps that they have for claiming your website. Because once you've claimed your website and you've followed all of these instructions, you're going to get some extra perks. As Pinterest mentions right here, you're going to get access to analytics for pins that you publish from your website, and you're going to allow the platform to show your profile picture next to any pin that comes from your website, as well as show a follow button for your Pinterest account. So if those aren't really good reasons to claim your website and create a business account, I don't know what is. So once you've set up your Pinterest account and verified and claimed your website, you're going to want to set up your first 5 boards. So just like we're here on my Pinterest account, you come over to the plus button, you click on Create Board, and you'll create your first 5 boards. I like to start with 5 boards because it gives you enough options for different categories to start saving and pinning to without the overwhelm of 20 boards. So 5 is a good small number, but gives you enough variety to start pinning pins on Pinterest. But before we start pinning pins on Pinterest or pinning to those boards, we should talk a bit about utilizing keywords on different areas of Pinterest, including Pinterest boards. So you're going to want to utilize keywords on Pinterest in different areas. And all those different areas are going to be in your bio on Pinterest, on your first 5 boards, and in the descriptions and titles of all of your Pinterest pins. Understanding that keywords are the way that people discover your content on Pinterest is really the key to understanding why utilizing keywords in all these areas is so important. So just to give you a glimpse at my bio here, you can see that I've included keywords like stock photos, Instagram, marketing, and organic growth in the title of my bio, as well as in the description of my bio. So you're going to want to use keywords that are related to your business, to your content, that people should be able to discover you through. So if you want to be discovered by a certain word on Pinterest, you're going to want to use that word within your content and within your bio. As well as in your first boards or in the descriptions and titles of all of your Pinterest pins. Keywords are essential because when your audience is on Pinterest, they're going to come up here to the search bar and they're going to search for words related to the content you create and the type of business you own. And they're going to be looking for help around those topics. So it's important for you to understand what keywords your audience might be searching for and including those keywords in all areas on Pinterest. Now, once you have your account set up, you've claimed your website, and you have your first boards set up and keywords are appropriately placed, it's time to start pinning and establishing your first pinning schedule. So as a beginner or as a basic schedule to start with, it's important not to overwhelm yourself with too many pins all at once. So a really good rule of thumb is to start with simply 5 pins a week. So you might pin 1 fresh pin a day for the first 5 days. Now you can repin or save pins from other people's accounts all you want. When I say start with 5 pins a week, I mean pins that you've created yourself. I don't mean pins that you've saved from other people. These are things that you've created yourself. And speaking of creating pins, I recommend using tools like Canva to create your Pinterest pins and graphics. So the ones that you see here on the right-hand side, those have been created in Canva for Pinterest. So as a basic schedule to begin with, you're going to start with 5 pins a week, and then you're going to work your way up to 5 pins a day. And these 5 pins are mostly your fresh content or new pins that you've created. You can utilize fresh content from other content creators to make up your 5 pins a day, but it's highly recommended that these are mostly your pins because you verified your website, so why not utilize Pinterest for sharing your own fresh content? Now these pins could and should go to different links, different URLs. So for instance, if you've written one blog post like this one that says get more clients during the holidays, I wouldn't create 4 more pins that go to that same blog post. I would actually create 4 different pins that go to 4 different blog posts. Now that doesn't mean you need to create 5 or 4 fresh blog posts this week. It just means you need 4 or 5 fresh pins that go to different blog posts during the day. So these could be old blog posts, new blog posts. That's really neither here nor there. It's just a matter of putting fresh visuals up for your new and your old content. So as a pinning schedule, start with 5 pins a week as a base starting point and work your way up to 5 pins a day made up of mostly your content. So what can you pin? Well, you can pin from your own blog every week. You can also pin from other accounts that you have like Instagram, Etsy, YouTube, etc. So if you create new YouTube videos every week, you can pin pins that link to your YouTube video. You can also revive old content or old blog posts and turn them into new Pinterest pins. So if you have been on Pinterest for a while and are starting a fresh content strategy and you know that you've pinned a blog post that you wrote last year, you can create a new Pinterest pin for that old blog post. It's recommended that you do that regularly. As a regular schedule, I like to go in once a month and pin a lot of my older content with fresh Pinterest pins. And then you can also pin from other relevant and reliable sources. So if you have an industry newsletter, website, or something that you follow and you think that your audience would also be interested in that content and it's really great visuals for Pinterest, you can pin that content as well to Pinterest as a helpful resource for your followers. But I wouldn't make that most of your pins. I would focus more on your content because you are a verified content creator, and it's just better to do that. So if you're running out of ideas of things to pin or running out of ideas of content to create for Pinterest, it's helpful to pay attention to the trends that Pinterest provides to you. Once you're on your Pinterest account, you can come over to Analytics and head over to Trends. And Pinterest is going to provide to you a lot of information about what's trending this week. This section of Pinterest is great for coming up with new, fresh ideas and understanding what people are searching for on Pinterest. And they have a search bar here where you can type in your keywords and look for what people are searching for related to those keywords. So I typed in the term dog cookie recipe and it pulled up searches over time, and it's showing me that as of December there's been an uptick in searches, which makes sense because we just came through the holidays and I'm sure a lot of people are making homemade treats for their pets as gifts. And what's helpful is you can go here below the chart and look for related trends, and there are different terms related to this search. So you can see what people are searching and how they are trending, but also popular pins on the topic. So you can get more ideas of what other people are talking about, and that might help inspire your own content for Pinterest. So now that you've established your account, established a content strategy, it's time to talk about Pinterest designs and different types of Pinterest pins that you can create. So there are a few different kinds of Pinterest pins you can create. There's static pins, or meaning still image pins, or there are idea pins, previously known as story pins, and video pins. Sounds just like what you might think. It's a video and it's a pin. And you will discover that as you're scrolling through Pinterest, there is a combination of all of these video, static, and idea pins scattered throughout the Pinterest pins that you see. So the question then becomes, how many idea pins should I pin? How many static pins? How many video pins? So I'm going to give you a good idea of where you can start. A great doable schedule is going to look something like this. When it comes to static or image pins, you can simply start with one a day. Remember, in our basic strategy, we're just looking to pin 5 times a week as a starting point and working up to 5 a day. So in your first strategy, just start with a simple image pin to start with to get the feel of Pinterest and to get comfortable with it. Then work your way up to 4 of those a day. Once you're working your way through this basic strategy and you feel comfortable with 4 fresh pins a day, then go ahead and work up to creating 2 idea pins every week. An idea pin is essentially a carousel. So when you're here on Pinterest and you go to create, you can create a pin or an idea pin. So an idea pin is essentially a carousel. So like this one is made up of about 7 different images and it scrolls through each image. You can use this style, which is a graphic, just like you would have on Instagram or something like that. Or you could just upload images and add text right on Pinterest. They have in their create tools a way for you to add text right here. So once you've worked your way up to creating idea pins, you're going to work your way into creating video pins. Now you can use stock videos or create your own videos, or create an animated graphic that you've saved as a video inside of Canva. Any of those ways are appropriate. I happen to like just animating one of my graphics in Canva because it simplifies my content creation and also just creates a short movable images in Canva that I can post on Pinterest, and it creates visual interest on Pinterest. And just a simple moving image is sometimes all you need to grab attention on Pinterest. So Pinterest isn't for long videos. They really just are for short 5 to 15 second videos. So you don't want to create any really long videos. You want to aim to create short, attention grabbing videos, because ultimately what we want is for the users on Pinterest to click through to your website or your link to learn more about whatever it is that you're educating them on or whatever you're selling. So we're using the video and the short clickable pins to grab their attention. So we want to work up to one every week. So once you've worked your way through these basics, you're going to end up with 4 static pins a day, 2 idea pins a week, and 1 video pin a week. So that will get you in the ballpark of 5 pins a day. Now I do want to note that you can get stock photos and stock videos and Pinterest templates straight from Ivory Mix and our monthly membership. We offer videos, templates, stock photos ready for you to implement, and you can learn more about that in the link below. Now that we've talked about your basic Pinterest strategy, you can start moving into some more advanced things, and we're not going to dive too deep into those, but your next step is going to be adding group boards to your strategy. So group boards are simply just boards created by other content creators, and they've invited you to be a pinner on their board, making it a group sort of strategy, a group board. And so you can join a few. I would aim to join maybe 3 group boards related to your niche and keywords that you want to be discovered for. So if you are a dog bakery, you might look for pet related group boards to join, and this will expand your audience to more people because more different followers are going to be following those group boards. And that's really one of the benefits of joining group boards. So I recommend joining at least a couple to start with. And once you've joined a couple of group boards, you can share your best content to those boards to expand your content reach and your audience. Now, speaking of advanced Pinterest strategies, you're going to probably consider scheduling options for your Pinterest pins. So instead of live posting your pins, you might ask yourself, how can I schedule these so that I'm saving myself time and simplifying my content creation process? And so one of the best ways to get started is with Pinterest's native scheduling tool. So right on Pinterest, when you're creating a Pinterest pin, you can schedule that pin for later. So you can go right to the Help Center to learn more about how to do this, but it's basically once you create a pin, you're going to see an option to either publish it now or schedule it for a later date. This is the screen where you're going to create a pin, and if you want to schedule it for a later date, you can click that little circle there and pick a date and a time in the future. This is great because that means that you can schedule your pins that you've created and spent time on ahead of time without having to be on the platform right when you want to share that pin. Now, of course, there are other advanced options for scheduling that allow you to schedule even more and a little more accurately with tools like Tailwind, Canva, Planoly, or Later. Those schedulers are paid options, but I happen to use Tailwind and enjoy it for my Pinterest scheduling. And if you're looking for advanced ways to schedule your Pinterest account and Pinterest pins, I highly recommend looking into Tailwind. But before you do that, you should get familiar with your analytics on Pinterest. So now that you've established your account and have started pinning, it's probably a good idea to get familiar with what pins are doing well and what pins aren't, and if you're reaching the goals that you've set for your account. So you'll go to Analytics and go to Overview, and it's going to provide you with an overview of how your account is doing, how many impressions you're getting, the number of engagements that you're getting on your pins, and so on. But it's also going to tell you which boards are doing the best and which pins that you've pinned are doing the best. And once you've had a chance to get familiar with your analytics, you'll probably be ready to check out some more advanced features on Tailwind that I happen to like getting familiar with and checking out Tailwind Smart Loops, interval scheduling, and communities. I'm not going to dive into those things today, but when you are consistent with your pinning and ready to expand and grow further, I do encourage you to join Tailwind for their Smart Loop, interval features, and communities. It really does make for a robust Pinterest plan and strategy. But as a basic thing that this video is, you don't need to start there. This is really next level, and I have many trainings inside of the Ivory Mix community when you're ready to get started on that. Now that you've learned everything you can in this video and are ready to move on to the next step, I've put together this free resource for you, and you can grab it right below this video. If you like this video, go ahead and let me know by giving it a like or adding your favorite part of the video in the comments below. And if you decide to save it or share it, go ahead and tag me so that I see it, and you'll get your chance to be featured in my Instagram stories every week.